Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are right before the globe, before the war. So let's go there. Yeah, who is taking it from here?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are pleased to be able to welcome those of you who are always here with us and those who are joining us for the first time. Thank you for joining us. My name is Aisha Ndanusa, and I'm here with some of our co-hosts, Sister Debbie Makomi from USA, Sister Eta Aquala from Brazil, and also Pastor 360 Degree from Abuja. Our guest speaker is already here with us. I'm going to pass it to Sister Debbie. You take it from here. Hello, Sister Debbie. Good evening, ma.
Thank you very much, Queen Sister Aisha. And thank you, King, Brother, Pastor Paul 360 Degree. We're all very honored to have with us tonight my one and only sister, Queen Sister Dr. Patience. I can introduce her, but guess what? I'm going to pass it to the king of the house to introduce her, and I'll just have a brief summary of who she is. But we are also honored to have each and every one with us, and especially our viewers. We are honored to have you joining us tonight. The topic for today is so amazing and an excellent one by our host. And I'll pass it at this time back to our host so he can introduce our guest speaker officially for today. Thank you, and over to you, Pastor Paul 360 Degree.
Hey, yes, but you remember our custom is the first 10 minutes is greeting the early viewers. So I think you can do that. Then when it is let's say 8 minutes on top of the hour, well, after greeting yourself, greet those that are there early, 8 minutes on top of the hour, I can introduce the guests. Moreover, today's introduction is a very important one. So continue.
All right, thanks, Pastor Paul. I'll pass it back to Sister Aisha to welcome our viewers who are early birds, to welcome them. Over to you, Sister Aisha. Thank you. You're muted, Sister Aisha.
Okay, before then, I want to say Sister Eta to say hello to our viewers. Go ahead, please, Sister Eta.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Hello, our viewers. It's another wonderful session, another Wednesday to spend time with you all again. We are here because of you. We are always happy to be in your midst. So basically, you're all welcome. We'll be happy to attend to any questions that you will have while we're on this session. So feel free, drop your questions, ask, and just follow along, and I just communicate with us down the comment section. And we are right here watching you. We can see what you want us to attend to, your questions and your reactions and all of that. So I just want to say welcome. We're happy to have you all here. So I'll let our sister Aisha to welcome you all personally, because it's important to welcome you personally. Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Eta. Thank you, everyone. Once again, I want to appreciate each and every one that have taken their time to join us for today. Welcome once again. I want to welcome Daniel Osowe. Thank you for joining us. We have MD Nafidu from Bangladesh. Thank you for joining us. Olabode Makonde, good evening. Thank you for joining us. We also have with us Teda King. You're welcome. Nice having you with us. Teda, good to see you here with us. I will have Miracle Jide. You're welcome. We also have Michael Izigulu. You're welcome, Michael. Nice having you with us, Michael. Thank you all for joining us. I think the time is against us. We'll have to start now. Maybe if we have enough time, I'm going to call more of your name. Thank you once again. I have to pass it over to the Pastor Paul 360 degree. Pastor, please go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Today is a very big and important section in the house. Though I don't know, maybe because of the nature of the topic for today that makes only me to be in the mix of women. But women, mothers are the one who talk about compassion. We talk about empathy. We talk about kindness. We talk about meekness. They are nobody is dragging down with them. Maybe that was why they now surrounded me. Maybe if not for the grace of God, they would have displaced me and so that they would be alone. But nevertheless, no wahala. So now today we are here, and to all those that are trooping in to come and hear about this topic, I want to let us know that it is not by chance. It is not by accident, but it is something that this is just the time. Because, most of the time we have thought over it over and over and over and over. But, in development, we normally call things, they call it inequality. Inequality is something that is so deep into the heart of the world. Maybe because of the economic ideologies that has emanated from a particular religious teaching at a point. But before them, it was not so. But this life, the only thing that is permanent is change. And in life, they say knowledge begin at birth and end at death. So in the process in between those two, there is a lot of things that happen. One, you can knowledge, you can unlearn, you can relearn, you can learn, and then you can, so which means you can drop some, you can add some, you can even drop all, you can add new, you can remove. So now this particular variable is something that we need. Some people even use it to sing over and over every day, but they find it very difficult to practicalize it. That is what? That is selflessness. Today, the leading leading religion across the world, the pioneers all are an epitome of selflessness. But today, if we even see some of the adherents, some of the teachers of those religions find it very difficult to be selfless. So it has now becoming a burden on us. So we'll have to throw it open. And this is just the beginning. And why the beginning? Why we choose to begin with somebody who is because we have looked over time, we have seen the person after some times that she has demonstrated a selfless life. Now, if you look at our picture very well, our speaker for today, that picture does not just appear by mistake. It appears from the record of what she has done before. A lot of us today in America, even those of us that are even from Nigeria, that are living in America for some years now, it is very difficult for us to even come back. Even when we show, we'll hide ourselves cover ourselves from, so that we will not be attacked by insecurity, by this, by that, by that. But here is somebody who is not even from Nigeria, but came all the way from the comfort zone of America to Nigeria at the point that those of us in Nigeria are finding it difficult to even move within the nearby communities. But she came, and then she was moving from one state to another for humanitarian services. So you can see that is what we call selflessness. And then in the founder in ONPASSIVE community today, that all of us are already singing and dreaming and talking about how to be selfless in the nearest moves or in nearest time when something begins to flow. Now we want to know, is it that some people are born with it? Or is it that it's something we can learn it within the course of interacting with others? Now we are going to hear from the horse's mouth today, but I pray that we'll listen carefully so that at the end of the day, we are not going to miss what we have been professing, because at the end of the day, we are going to account before our Creator that we have been planning that, okay, something is coming, we are going to use it to change life, we're going to use it to live a selfless life. But what happens when it comes? And then we'll find it very difficult. So this is why we are here tonight. Prepare your question, ask them together, prepare them, and then we continue. Thank you very much. This person is no other person but Dr. Patient and John Gwen. And then from today, I am declaring a title that she really wants today. I'm declaring it open officially that she is the Lolo of Africa. So if you don't know what Lolo means, you can check out, I believe most of the African or Nigerian, all of Nigerian people know what Lolo means. Later, we'll begin to dissect the meaning, but that is our new title. So, moderator, please take up from here. And if there is any further introduction before she takes the floor. Thank you.
Pastor Paul, you nailed it. You nailed it. I don't think law number one can be introduced by anyone more than what you've just done. And I'm not going to belabor it. I just want our viewers to know a little bit about our law, in addition to what Pastor Paul has. Did you know that Queen Sister Dr. Patience, our law number one, has a PhD in biomedics informatics? If you did not, now you do. Did you know she has a master's in public health, a master's in philosophy and mathematical statistics, a master's in applied statistics and certificate in clinical epidemiology, and a bachelor's of science in math and statistics, and over 29 years in corporate America. I don't want to go on. Not only is she that, but she's also a senior manager in biostatistics and programming. This topic today is a core topic to each and every one of us. It does not matter who you are. It's something that touches us to core. Without further ado, please, let's give the floor to our guest presenter for today, Queen Lolo number one, the one and only in the house. The microphone is yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are on the what platform? I on ONPASSIVE SDD hot. Wow. People can talk about somebody and I'm wondering whether it's me you're talking about, but I am honored and I hope I'll be up to the task to carry a title such as Lolo. It's a big title if you're from Africa. That is not a joke. It's a title. Pastor Paul, I'm honored to receive that title. I hope and pray that I'll have the grace and tenacity and wisdom to lead by that title. As we know today, our topic is selfishness, an inborn or a learned behavior. So I want to first start by greeting our viewers that join us today. We really appreciate you coming. Before I begin, I also want to thank the Almighty God for today and for the air we breathe. We take it for granted, but it's by His grace we're here today. So again, thank you, Pastor Paul 360 Degree and all the leaders on this platform for giving me this opportunity to share with you. The topic today is a very interesting and controversial one. We know we all said that we were given the mandate by the Almighty God to be our brother's keeper. But what does that mean? What I'm going to share today is my own viewpoint. And I want to start by acknowledging that there are many viewpoints on this topic as they are participants in this forum and beyond. Defining selflessness can be very tricky, as you can see from the various definitions. To start with, let's look at the various definitions of selflessness. Selflessness can be defined as having little or no concern for oneself with regards to fame, position, or money, etc., etc. It can also mean to care about others and act on the desire to help others without the expectation of or desire for compensation for helping. It can also be defined as the lack of preoccupation with one's own interest, advancement, desire, etc., and the attentiveness to those of others. To be selfless is to have the great love for others, to have compassion and empathy. That is, selflessness is love. It is giving your time, money, items you no longer need to others. Selflessness is acting from the motivation to do the right thing. Selflessness is focusing on others and expressing concern. There are many people who will argue that true selflessness does not exist, because even when we are doing something without expecting a reward, we are still gaining something. For example, warm feeling. Not the feeling of giving, right? We're gaining something. Let's start by looking at parenting as an example. We sacrifice for our children, not because we expect them to repay us, but because we gain satisfaction when they grow up and are good member of society, even when they do not do anything directly to repay us. So, are we born selfish, selfless, or do we learn selflessness? Human beings are born both selfish and compassionate. We are wired to show compassion to our group and fear to those outside it. It's genetic self-interest. In other words, I think it is a myth that humans can only naturally be selfish, or vice versa, only naturally be compassionate. Everyone is wired with bias, and the way our brain process information only creates more bias as we grow up. Babies are born with natural selfish and compassionate behavior. A baby doesn't have to be taught to empathize with those who take care of it, their in-group, or it doesn't have to be taught to be afraid of strangers, their out-group. Most babies seem to react negatively to people who are strangers and positively to the one they know, like their mother and other groups in their in-group. Both compassion and fear are genetically wired to ensure the survival of a baby and its in-group. It is therefore more accurate to simply say human beings are complex and have both selfish and selfless traits. We are wired to cooperate and to compete. We are wired to be selfless or selfish, but all of this is simply in the interest of our own genes. Beyond this, human beings learn by nurturing, by nature, nurture, not nature, right? We're learned by nurture, not nature, how to extend their compassion or selflessness to those outside their group, or likewise how to extend their hate or self-centeredness to strangers outside their group. Luckily for us, human beings, we are social creatures. So we have the natural desire to cooperate. We can be taught compassion and taught to understand and correct biases. Sorry, as I said, I wasn't feeling well today. It is therefore, if we develop an open mind, then we can be nurtured into having our self-centered mindset develop more selflessness and incorporate in our day-to-day life to be selfless. The further good news is that just as our muscles become stronger as we exercise, we can become more selfless as we develop our mind in that direction. So the more you give with that thinking, you can develop that trait. Let's look at ONPASSIVE. You can agree with me that all of us came into ONPASSIVE. Our motivation was the desire to gain financial freedom or benefit. Our CEO, on the other hand, was already a fully developed, selfless individual. Right from the onset, we knew that he did not need us to develop or launch ONPASSIVE, but he extended the invitation to us. This is being selfless. We knew that we could never pay him in any currency for giving us this opportunity. He knew that we wanted to uplift humanity, and if he got some of us to accompany him, the journey would not be only faster, but more enjoyable. He knew and understood that we are born with the ability to become more selfless and has been on a one-man crusade to change our mindset. Think of all the ONPASSIVE corporate meetings, how much time he has devoted in helping us to create and develop the right mindset. He has shown us that we can become bigger than ourselves if we take care of others. We are seeing the results. Look at this platform. I said, well, this platform and all the others in the ONPASSIVE universe. How many of us have grown beyond just waiting for the money in ONPASSIVE? Have grown our mindset of changing the world, even within our own community. How many of us are not dreaming of reaching out there to help the less fortunate members of our community simply by mimicking our CEO, Mr. Ashmi Farrell? My viewpoint is that being selfish or selfless is nothing that is inborn with us, that will remain constant with us like a fingerprint till we die. We have the opportunity to change, and it depends on our mindset. For those of us here in ONPASSIVE, we should be thankful to Mr. CEO, our CEO, Mr. Ashmi Farrell, and his family, and the executive at the various location tech team. These are the people working selflessly to improve our life and uplift humanity. And we are called to change our own mindset and carry this torch, this mandate, to the other 8 billion people out there, not expecting anything in return or caring if anyone said thank you, because we're doing the right thing. So doing the right thing is not for you to expect gratitude. Doing the right thing is for you to be your brother keeper. Doing the right thing is for you to not to go to bed with a full stomach and your neighbor is going to bed hungry. Doing the right thing is for you to see that child on the street that just need something to eat, and you share your one loaf of bread with them. We don't have to be billionaires to start sharing and be selfless. You can start with even a 50 naira or with $1. If you have $1 and give somebody 10 cents, you can change your life. So being selfless is something is in us. We just have to nurture it. And if it's not harnessed, if you have billions, we'll not be able to do it. But once it is harnessed, as a baby, we harness a part of our complex being. That baby would grow without thinking twice to be selfless. However, if we miss that opportunity to harness it when they are young, we can learn if we have the open mind to do so. But if we close our mind to learn, we cannot do it with billions. You don't have to wait for the green notes or the apples or molars or what currency you're waiting for ONPASSIVE to start being there for each other. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be as little as saying somebody that I love you is going to be okay. As little as saying that, oh, you don't have shoes, I have 2 pairs, take 1. It is as little as saying that, oh, you don't have clothes, I have 2, take 1. It is as little as, oh, you are in the street, I have a room in my house, you can come and share. So let's start thinking on our mandate here on ONPASSIVE. We keep talking about being the correction to corruption. We keep talking about bringing hope to the less privileged. We keep talking about uplifting humanity. What does that really mean to you, to me, as we walk through this journey? If you cannot give with the little you have, trust me, you cannot give with millions. You have to start giving yourself, as I said, is going like back home in Africa. You have an elderly neighbor, go fetch water for them. It doesn't have to be financial. Go to the market for them. Show that truly God said we should be our brother's keeper, and we are doing that. You should be a sister keeper, you're doing that. You should be there for one another, and we are doing that. We should work unitedly, and we're doing that. But if we keep tearing ourselves apart, keep fighting each another, we are not carrying the mandate of our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufaro. Maybe I should stop here so we can take some questions if you want, because I can go on and on. If you give me the floor, I can talk forever. But I'm going to stop here for now, and we can go into the topic deeply if there are questions. But this is a very dear topic to me. Okay, I don't want to, Pastor Paul said it all. I'm not saying that everybody should carry their bags, go to Nigeria, go to 1 or 2 states for them to come selfless. Charity begins at home. If you don't begin it at home for your brother, your siblings, you cannot extend it externally to the general public. Thank you, Pastor Paul 360. Thank you, my queens and in the house, Mama McCormick, Queen Aisha, and Queen Atel for having me here today. We're so in a great shape of our life in ONPASSIVE, and let's change our mindset and think what of the traits that God has instilled with us we want to take forward. Thank you.
All right. Now, okay, but I have like 4 questions. Sister Debbie, go ahead so that you know that. let me tell you how many questions I have before you will now carry all the time. Or all of you gang up and carry on because I am the only one among you talk.
First of all, I want to say I am in awe listening to our Lolo, the one and only Lolo, talk about selflessness, the topic of the day. It touches us to the core, and that what you just shared is just amazing. We appreciate it. We thank you. We thank you for being able to share that with us, because in ONPASSIVE, this journey in which we are, there's so many things that we do not know about, including the topic for the day. So I don't want to start expanding on it, but I just wanted to clarify something for us. Is selflessness something that is inborn, or you learn it? And at what age do you start? Because I know that sociologists have a different view towards that particular part of society. And I know you're very experienced. I'm not a sociologist, but I did take Sociology 101. But I would like you to expand on whether it is something that you're born with, or it's inherited, or it's something that you learn from your peers, from your social, or from your peers, or from your environment, or from school. I know it could come from several ways, but because I'm not a specialist in that field, it would be nice if you have an idea to share with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama McCormick. As I said before, we are born with both traits because God gave us the freedom, right? However, we have to nurture it. Nurturing is one of the things I'm saying that if we don't get it by, if you don't harness it, if you have a little baby and you cannot even tell the baby, share your toy. We know we say sharing is giving. We start harnessing that part. As you harness in the early stage, okay, and they might grow up and because they didn't have the opportunity, maybe they did not do anything. But because it's there, it's harnessed, it's the back of their core. If they come to 1 or 2 places like this ONPASSIVE community and they hear about giving, my mom used to say that it's okay to give. My dad used to say that it's okay to give. When I was growing up, there were a lot of people growing in our house. They were not even our relatives. It clicks. Oh my goodness, I've not been doing this. You can see now that light bulb will click up. Okay, you have to switch it. It's there. You have to switch that light bulb. Once you switch it, that comes. You have somebody because the nature of being self-centered, that was the one that was natural, the nurture in them. Oh, you don't have to share your story. Oh, it's your thing, keep it safe. Oh, don't be careful that. If you nurture that type of trait in you, somebody very young, they will grow and think about themselves, me, and I. Okay? But the good thing is that as human beings, we can learn. So I've seen that, I've seen this practically. Somebody that was grown in that environment, oh, let's keep our stuff to ourselves, and come up in the university, met a lot of people, was surprised how they'll just give their things to them. Oh, you want a pair of shoes? Take. Oh, can I borrow this? Take. And he's like, why do you do that? Oh, my car is broken. You really want to go somewhere? You can take mine. I'm not going somewhere today. They were shocked. What happened? They learned it. This is a true story. They start saying that, oh, if somebody can just take my car for 1 week until you repair your own, and they're not asking for you to pay for the car. Oh, I can drop you at the airport, and they're not asking for you to pay, give them gas money. How are they wired? He started asking that question. Before we know it, he too was doing it. So it is there. If you nurture it, it comes like, as I said, if you keep doing it, it will come like second nature for you. You not even think of it when you're doing it. It was nurtured from an early age. If you learn it at a later age, you have to think about it before you do it. So that's the difference, but it can be learned. But if you nurture early, it comes like second nature. You just do it without thinking. As Pastor Paul said, when I got to the plane going to Nigeria, I think I spoke with Pastor Paul and Sister Aisha here. They said the North is there's political outright, it's not safe. They say innocent is bliss, right? Innocence is bliss. The innocent make us just say, but the drive that was in us, that we've seen all these images that people are suffering, that drive that was natural, because I grew in a house that right now, my dad still have children and none of us are home. That we always had people in the house. So that thought that, oh, this person is suffering, let me go out there and help. It takes that fear away to do it. So yes, we are born with it. But if you don't harness it, it will just be in your DNA somewhere. We are born with it, but it has to be natural for it to blossom. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Absolutely, it does. I'm going to thank you so much. I wasn't expecting that elaborate explanation, but I'm sure our viewers have also gathered something from that explanation. I'm going to pass it over to Sister Aisha and then Pastor Paul 360. Over to you, Sister Aisha.
Thank you, Sister Debbie. Sister Dr. Pat, thank you very much for that presentation on selflessness. You know, I know you to be a selfless person. You know, for the first time I met you, you have been, I don't know how to describe you because already Pastor 360, Sister Debbie, they have already described you. But one of the greatest things as a human being can do is to serve others. And the trust form of selfless service is one you give out without anything in return. that is the spirit in which we give. That is when you give out to people, that is the only thing that will make you to become a selfless one. Because at times I do confuse myself, well, being selflessness and being sympathetic to someone. I don't know how to put it. Is it the same thing? Because I have about 4 questions, but you have already given out about 2 of them while you're presenting, telling us how to incorporate selflessness in day-to-day activities, and also the question that Sister Debbie has asked, do we inherit it or we learn it? So I have 2 already for you, but for this, I just want you to explain it. Is selflessness and sympathy the same thing, or I don't know?
Thank you, Sister Aisha. As I said, I think I mentioned empathy, right?
Yes.
If we really don't have the spirit of empathy, it can deter your spirit of selflessness. All right, so empathy too helps. If you're empathetic, you can see somebody's struggle. If you're not empathetic, you will not see it. So if you're empathetic and you can see somebody's struggle, if they have an issue and you know that you're in a better position. Okay, let me give an example. Let me say you have a pair of shoes. Then because you have a roof over your head, you have something, you can say, oh, I'm okay. And they see somebody in the street without a pair of shoes. The empathy that the person, first of all, is homeless and doesn't have shoes. I'm just giving an example. You can talk to yourself that, you know what, at least I have a house. Let me give that person a pair of shoes. So empathy, which is the sympathetic nature you're talking about, can help us too, if you already nurture your selflessness, to be selfless when you want to take care of that person. Because trust me, if you don't have empathy, we know, we've seen it. Let me use Africa for example. I'm not saying that it's not here. We know that people that are in bigger position or a higher class society than, because they have class society, lesser class society, the ones that don't have empathy, when they see the people that are less privileged than them, they instill pain in them. Okay? They'll be like, I didn't ask you to be in that situation. They don't know what happens. They don't know our background, but you see, instead of lifting that person up, they'll be putting that person down. That people don't have any empathy. And then you have the ones that have empathy. The moment they see that type of situation, what do they say? I am blessed to have this. They will give without thinking. Some people give from abundance, okay? Those are people with empathy, they'll give from abundance. People that are selfless give from not abundance, they give from what they have. I think that that's my point of view. Because I've seen people that, if I wish I had more, I would have given this person. They have that empathy, but they're not selfless because they're still thinking that, I don't have enough to give. But somebody that is selfless. There's an advert in Britain. I don't know why anybody have ever seen that advert. It's a Rolo. Rolo is a chocolate, is like circular. And they'll ask you, will you give your last Rolo? If you have your last piece of bread, and you know that will not be sufficient for you to eat, and you see somebody that's hungry, and you are empathetic to that person, you say, well, I'm really sorry, this person doesn't have food, but having only 1 piece of bread is not enough for me. You're not going to share. So the empathy can elevate your selflessness, but somebody that's selfless, the empathy will help and say, you know what, let's split this piece of bread. You see the difference? There's somebody that is empathetic, but it's not selfless, might say, I don't have abundance, I cannot really give. I feel your situation, but I don't have abundance. So maybe I'll just leave it there for now. But let me just share an example. I don't want to put myself here like somebody that is selfless, but I had an email yesterday. I had a WhatsApp message yesterday for somebody that is trying to publish a paper and they have to pay some $35 for that article to be reviewed. I was due yesterday. You just send an email, click pay before I even check whether I have money in my account. I'm not trying to brag here, but the empathy just took me to a different level. But if I was just empathetic, I'm like, I really feel for him. but let me see what I have money in my account first. Maybe I cannot pay. But at that point, I was ready to go $35 overdrawn if it came to that, because I didn't want him to miss that opportunity. So that is the difference of empathy and selflessness and how the two relate. Thank you, Sister Aisha, for that question.
Thank you very much, Ma. My last question is, do you think there is any quality someone have to put in place to become selflessness?
No, not at all. As I said, if you can see from babies, the one that they've already nurtured that spirit, that a trait of selflessness in them. They see another baby, they'll be like, take, they're sharing. And you can see one that will be like, no, it's mine, right from baby. So you don't really have to have any trait. And that's why I say that you don't have to be a billionaire to be selfless. You can be selfless by just being yourself. You really don't have to be in any level. As I said, we are born with it. Is actually inborn, but as in the nurture. Have you been exposed to, if you were not lucky to have parents that nurture you in that, which people have changed, have you been exposed to the environment that you see a lot of people being so selfless, as Mama Mokomi said, environment too can help. But if it is nurture from the beginning, environment will not change that person. If it was not, because we are born to learn, environment can change that person. To say, I see Sister Debbie. She had only one banana. And that child was hungry. She cut it in two. Or I see Sister Aisha. She had one orange, and that child was hungry. But Sister Aisha knows that in the evening she can find another orange. She gave the whole orange to that child. You can learn from seeing people's contribution. And yes, so yes, you don't have to have any particular background to be selfless.
Thank you very much, Sister. I don't know if Pastor 360
Right.
go ahead and answer.
Over to me, right?
Yes.
Queen AI. So your are complete, right? Okay, so
I still have some, but I just have to leave it like that for now.
You say your two questions. The last one was the last one. So me, I am, like I said earlier, I am the only one, and I will not allow all of you to press me and keep me one side. So Sister Debbie, Aisha, they are done. So over to me before Queen Eta. So like I said, I can manage 4 questions, but if I have time, it will be more. If I want to pity Queen Eta, okay, I can stop there. But if I don't want, I can continue. But meanwhile, I want to start with, you have talked about nurture and nature. So each of them falls to different theory as regards the selflessness. But before I go into those two perspectives and the two schools of thought, as relating to nurture and nature. So let me ask a question. There is a golden rule by one of the greatest teachers ever exists. And that rule says, love your neighbor as yourself. Now, the question I want to ask you is that, is selflessness contradict that law? Because I have seen for you to be selfless to some extent, you have to even subject yourself. You love that particular people now more than yourself, because if you love yourself more, you can keep some things or some gesture to yourself because it is not convenient. So what is the opposition as regarding the golden rule and the purest form of selflessness?
I don't think it contradicts it, Pastor Paul 360, because if you say love your neighbor as you love yourself, the way I always look at that scripture or that saying is that if I love myself, will I take away from myself? Yeah, for me, it's no. So if I love my neighbor as myself, will I take away from that neighbor? If I love myself, if I have, will I go to bed hungry? If the answer is no, if I have, why will I not share with that neighbor that I love as myself? If I love myself, will I harm myself? The answer is nobody really will harm themselves if they love themselves, except they have some mental issues, right? So if you really love yourself, you will love that neighbor the same way. So that way, that means whatever you can get for yourself, you can get to a neighbor that does not have. So I think it just complement or it just speak to what that law is. That law actually was asking us to be selfless. For me, that's what I look at it. Because if you truly love your neighbor as yourself, you will be selfless for that neighbor's sake, or for that sister's sake, for that brother's sake. So for me, that is how I look at it. That is does not contradict it. Is really speak to it.
Okay, no, though my question is not about contradiction, it's about superseding. Because
I see. Okay, yeah. So, Pastor Paul, as I said, if you really love yourself, if you really want to follow that saying, you want to follow that mandate, and you really love yourself, this selflessness will make you follow that above and beyond.
All right. Okay, because why I'm saying is that if you analyze critically some of the steps, okay, for example, that time that you were moving from Calabar to Tarapa, and you were jumping on top keke, that they were even at the point we have been threatened by bad boys. You know, sometimes you look at that. If you look at that scenario, you look at it that okay, if you actually want to demonstrate in line with that rule, love your neighbor as yourself, not more than yourself. You shouldn't have done all those things, because you know that the atmosphere was not good then. Anything could happen to you. So that is why I am asking, so that sometimes at some point we don't just need to stop at that golden rule, because you know to every rule there are some exceptions. So that is just why I'm asking, because you know if everybody wants to stop with that rule, truly our sense of our selflessness will not be as pure as it's supposed to. So that is it.
Yes, Pastor Paul, I agree with you. As I said, that rule for me was my foundation. It was like where I start. It wasn't my end. Okay, so it was by level playing ground. And once you start with that level playing ground now, to take that risk for your neighbor is the above and beyond of that the selflessness brings. Okay, the foundation was just love your neighbors. That was the foundation to start off with. You had to start somewhere. That was the foundation. Now we had to do an additive effect on that rule, and the additive effect was selflessness, to go above and beyond love your neighbor as yourself. Because if I love myself, I will not take a risk, right? But because I went above and beyond that rule, I have to put the additive ingredient, selflessness, on that rule to go above and beyond, to take a risk of my life to do that. That's what, yes. In that way, selflessness starts going above and beyond. Because as I said before, when I answered Sister Aisha's question, right? If we have to come selflessness only through abundance, then we cannot really be true selfless. Because you're like, oh, I just have enough of me. Oh, no, this is my risk. I have that fear. I would not go above and beyond. So yes, it is. It augments and add to that golden rule of love your neighbor as yourself.
All right. So let me go sociological now, because Dr. Debbie said she only stop at SOC 101. But let me take you to SOC 501 or SOC 801.
That's a higher level now.
801 or 901 now. So please don't be scared. I'm still within the either 201 at most. I will not go further. Now, when we know like I said earlier, the nurture and nature, there are two schools of thought. And one was encapsulated in the theory that says tabula rasa. Now, the tabula rasa by John Locke says that every child is like an empty slate. So it is what you write on the slate that determine the content. So it is blank, that every child is born blank. So it is what is written on it, which is a product of the nurture now, that dictates whom the person become eventually. So you said it, okay, let's say the parent or the guardian or as many that form the subject of socialization around that particular person will not determine whether the person be. Then another one says, no, every child, every human being is born naturally wicked. But then, so in the case of selflessness, what is the degree of each of them? What are you now saying that there is everybody with nurture can be changed, or there are some that their degrees of natural inherent as a kind of the other side wickedness is more, that the product of nature will not influence them enough to be selfless? Because if it is the balance, as you say, then everybody would have been selfless. But today, as we are seeing it in the society, it is not so, because then you have some people today, they have enough that even their dog cannot even consume, but anybody comes with little, no matter how little is your problem is, they rather see you dying than assisting you. So in that case, what is the equilibrium state? What is the balance state? Because ideally, to an ordinary person here in this part of the world, particularly, will hardly agree with you that with nurture, everybody can be selfless. So how do you justify this position?
Before I answer, I think Mama Debbie, you want to say something? Say your hand up.
Yes, my hand is up because I really applaud Pastor Paul's question to you. But when you answer, can you also add to how it relates to ONPASSIVE, please?
Correct. Okay. So, Pastor Paul, as I said before, right, we human beings are complex. And you're right there, where they say baby are born with an empty slate, but God gives us an innate trait. Remember, that innate trait for choice is there. We cannot put anything in that baby, but that innate trait of choice is there. So the choice of being selfless or selfish is ours to make with the right mindset. If you look at, so to come down, you want to say what percentage will be by nurture and what percentage by nature of environment is going to be very difficult and complex. But on my own, this is my point of view, as I said. If you already nurture somebody and the person was doing it as a second nature, like they don't think about it, and maybe they stop because maybe there is some other environment, it'll be easier for them to pick that part of their trait. For example, as Mama Debbie said, if you look at the journey of ONPASSIVE, and I think I said that as well. Our CEO always says that what the financial part is a done deal. So when he's telling us the financial part is a done deal, and we're having all that, you have to think about your dreams, what you want to do, dream bigger, your dream. He says a lot of that. It's for us to start thinking. What are we going to do above and beyond what we are doing, right? And for those that already have the innate trait of selflessness developed, because you have to develop it. Any trait, you have to develop it. Innate trait develop. It will be easy for them to transition. And for those that have not developed it, you've gone to other platforms, you see people are saying that, oh, now I'm thinking about my dreams. I'm writing down things. I never thought I could do things, but now I'm seeing about things I have to do. That is the environment that has helped them to bring that aspect of their life out. It is there, but it wasn't nurtured yet. It didn't come out, but the environment, that's the nature now, has helped them to bring it out. Because I've gone to platform, people like, I wasn't even thinking what I was going to do when I'm blessed. But now what are we doing? What is ONPASSIVE doing? Us in this platform, what are we doing? Us in different platforms, what are we doing? We're telling people about the mindset. Then really, you don't really have to wait for ONPASSIVE and the finances of ONPASSIVE to come before you start helping humanity. And I think that's what I said. ONPASSIVE has bring that culture to harness that selflessness in us. Yes, charity begins at home. Okay, I will not say that take your last meal and give it and walk naked. Then you two will be the problem, right? But say if you have two and somebody doesn't have, give one. So ONPASSIVE is giving us that spirit to start thinking. And again, on various platforms on ONPASSIVE, we're telling them that you don't really have to wait. before we hopped to the plane to come to Nigeria, we were thinking of coming there in 2020, and then COVID happened. Okay, COVID happened. Boko Haram noise is going on. Everything is going on. We are doing what we can do from a distance. It's not like we're not doing what we're doing there. But we say we have to go physically, so we can do the medical part physically and give our service. I can tell you that maybe ONPASSIVE, being in that environment, not just a little bit to say, you know what, let's go, let's not postpone this journey anymore. Because we were doing stuff there, but we're not there presently, and we're still doing stuff there, and we're not presently. So that environment of us coming to all our ONPASSIVE webinar and we're doing mindset keeps reminding us on our mandate that our Creator sent us here to do. Yes, but He sent us here to do, but He gave us a choice. He gave us a choice. You can do it or you cannot do it. It's a choice. We are not forced. Even ONPASSIVE is still giving us a choice. You can stay with the journey or you can leave. You can dream big or you cannot. So it's still a matter of choice. But nature can help you develop that. Remember, the word I said that we are born with it, but we have to develop it. There are two ways: by nurturing it or by learning it. Once you learn it in an adult age, it could be more difficult, but you have to keep doing it. But if you had nurtured it from a baby and they're growing, and my twin daughters, when they were, I forgot how old they were going to go to England, and I gave them $100 each. That when you go, you can get yourself something. They didn't get anything. So they came back, and I said, did you buy anything? I said, no. So I was happy that I'm going to get my money back. 2 days later, I said, can I have the money? Oh, we went to school and gave it to charity. I said, all of it? They say, yes, Mom. You said we should give. And I'm like, maybe you have to keep some for yourself. But at that point, as a parent, I had to be careful with the conversation, right? Because I didn't want them to feel like they did something wrong. So that's the nurture part. But the environment too can play a good role of it. You can be nurtured to be selfless, and you grow in a self-centered environment, and every person you see is self-centered. That can really work on your mindset as well. That am I doing the right thing? So that environment too can play a part. But to put a percentage can be a difficult thing. I'm not the expert. I'm speaking my point of view, because it can go anywhere, because God gives us the what? The spirit and the choice to make.
Right. I'll leave the floor for a turnaround because of our time. You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Lolo of Africa, of not just Africa. Maybe I'll just promote it to Lolo of the universe, because I mean, you just did and you just gave an awesome presentation, and it's something we can relate to. So, being a psychologist myself, I know many of us don't know this. I'm a psychologist, I'm a counselor. So I could relate with everything you were saying. Like, it's just nothing short of what it's meant to be, from the aspect of being inborn and being, it's something that is more of inherent in us. It's an inborn trait. If you're not a giver, you're not a giver. So, but notwithstanding, I still have a question I would like to throw at you to see if you can clarify, because I want to bring it down to ONPASSIVE. In fact, I have a lot of questions, but let me just ask this one for clarification's sake, So, for instance, ONPASSIVE now, we know that our CEO is a selfless person. And what he did, he has made both direct and indirect impact in the life of both founders. Let me say founders, because we are his direct followers, So, and some people now see it as, some people feel conditioned, like, oh, I have to be selfless because our CEO is a selfless person. What the talk is about lately, because we are expecting our incomes, we're expecting our bonuses and all of that to come in anytime soon. And the magnitude or the way it's being said that we are going to be okay in life. The talk and everything now is about what can you give back? What can you give back? But my question now is, what about those that it's not in them? Those that are not givers, those that even if they have it in excess, they would rather waste it, because there are people like that, you know. But the company now is making us understand that it's all about giving back. It's not, you don't have to think about just yourself. When those people are conditioned to act in line with that principle, because why I say this, some of them are just waiting for the apples to come. And at the end of the day, you see that they are not real givers. If you are a giver, you would have started this prior. You shouldn't be waiting for the apples to come before you start channeling it to wanting to do good or wanting to give back. You should have been a giver before now. And then all you should, even before the whole talk about giving back comes, I believe a lot of us are supposed to have had what we would like to do for our community. Personally, I do. I have a lot of things, even before ONPASSIVE launched. I'm like, God, if this thing just happens, becomes a reality, I know what I want to do for my community here, there, you know, it's a personal thing. So what I'm trying to ask now is, when those people are conditioned to become selfless, because I will say they are conditioned because it's not in them, or they were not that prior. Are we going to say is it a good thing? Is it a good kind of, is it a positive selflessness? Because they are not living their truth. You know, they are not living their truth, and they may not be able to continue living in line with that truth. At some point, they might derail. At some point, they might just do one or two, and they'll just say to themselves, oh, I've done something. Wouldn't say I didn't do anything. I've done it because our CEO is selfless. They've said we should do it. Not even because anybody is monitoring them and all that. So is it a good thing? Is it a good kind of selflessness? Because it's something that might, you know, that's one of my questions I would like to know. If you can throw light on me.
Thanks, Sister Ita, for that. As I said, right, as I earlier said, we can learn it. And there's nothing wrong to learn something and do it. And the more you do things, the more it becomes a second nature, right? Yeah. I said that our CEO understood that we were born with the ability to become more selfless, and has been on a one-man crusade to change our mindset, right? If you think when it comes to corporate meeting, it sees there is trying to develop our mindset. If you go to any corporation, the culture of that corporation, the ethic of that corporation can change you, right? Because you want to belong to that corporation. And sometimes, if you're out there and you change somebody, that belief are not giving, but you, because of your ways, your character, the way you do things, change your neighbor to become a giver. It's not the wrong thing. Maybe they were not. Maybe they did not know. Maybe they did not realize that giving is more fulfilling than receiving. Maybe they did not know. But they see you now. You are giving and you are happy, and they want to be like you. There's nothing wrong to learn the trait. Because, as I said, it's in us in a way. It was not just harness. If through your action, through ONPASSIVE, through all this series of mindset and that webinars that we talk about, people learn that trait and become givers. There's nothing wrong with that. They will start living their truth because it will be part of them. They will not be living lies because they will not be happy. And I have a story that there was a drunk sitting next to a rich man, and this man will go and drink him and come and he's happy. But this man has billions in his house and he's not happy because he wasn't a giver, so he didn't have friends. And one day he called the guy and said, if I give you all this money, will you be happy? The guy said, oh yeah, why not? Who doesn't want money? So he took the money, but now he kept it in his house. He couldn't go and enjoy himself with his friend because he had to come and rush to come back to make sure that money wasn't stolen. Right? Because he did not know how to give, but now he's trying to make sure it wasn't stolen. And after a time, he went back to the rich man and said, you know what? I don't want this money. It's made my life miserable. So if you learn that if you learn that spirit of giving, there's nothing wrong with that. So I would say thank you all for having me. But we know that learning it, nurturing it, and learning a trait to become in the mandate of ONPASSIVE to eradicate poverty or uplift humanity, for our CEO to be having that mindset and us, all the platform having that mindset, is to get people to, those that doesn't, to learn so we can all together eradicate poverty and uplift humanity and live in a better place with more security because everybody is okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Miss Lolo of Africa, Dr. Patience. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
So, Pastor Paul, probably you would give vote of thanks to our viewers, right? So we can call it a day. It's better since you are the man amongst women. I think it will be better to, you know, you are blessed among we women. So we'll give you the honor.
Yes.
To
What a wonderful time today. We are not ending here because this topic, you can see how everybody's faces were looking so radiant. And then even despite all the stress.
I was even cheated because I literally have piles of questions and you all cheated me.
Lolo one, her face is just glittering and she don't want to go.
Exactly.
DP is having bunch of more talk. Queen AI the same, and Sister Etada is already claiming being cheated. Okay, nevertheless, we are coming back. We're coming back next week Wednesday. Even our viewers don't want us to end here, but we don't want to keep them at once and finish everything, so that they will have a better time to go home and think and come back for part 2 of this particular topic, because this is the hallmark of the whole ONPASSIVE, from the conception, from the whole processes, from the beginning, from the ideology till today. This is what it's all about. So it has to be over interesting. So let's go and prepare and come back. Thank you all the viewers. Thank you all the moderators and all the presenters for this wonderful time. And I believe that next week will be another great time, great moment in the house. Okay. Sister Debbie?
Yes, please. She was raising her hand.
I just wanted to add that one of our viewers wanted us for next time if we could clarify what law means, because we are international here. Not everybody knows what law is.
Okay, can we quickly do that? It's not a big deal.
Let
So I saw the question and I was like, oh, really? Because it's good they know. First of all, the word lolo, it originates from Nigeria, you know, in Africa, and not just Africa, from the eastern part of Africa where I'm from. It's a huge title, you know. When your husband, you know, for you to be a lolo, your husband has to be a chief. He has to have a chieftaincy title bestowed on him in a community, in a country, or wherever, you know. So by the virtue of your husband being a chief, you are a lolo, being his wife, you know. Or a lolo on your own is like you're in charge of, you are, in fact, you are an idol, you are a figure. So that's lolo, you know. It's a big title, like they said. It's a big title.
And as you can see, this woman, for you to be a chief, for you to be a lolo, it is measured by the level, by how much life we're able to touch, by how humanitarian are you, by how selfless are you, and by every standard. She's supposed to have been ordained with this title long time ago. In fact, it was overdue, long overdue title, but nevertheless, it's still time for, it's still never too late.
Exactly. She's going to universe, Lolo of the universe.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, our viewers. Since we have come
you so much.
This session, I want to thank every one of you, and I want you to take this back home. Simple good deeds, as smile is a good thing, or you helping others seems as the art of giving. So you can as well smile. Try giving helping hand to others in order to have a smile on your face. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.